Welcome to Module 4. This week we are going to talk about teaching online. Now, I'm just here to tell you that teaching online is quite different than teaching face-to-face. First of all, when you teach face-to-face, there's a lot of teaching that takes place that you haven't actually prepared for. A lot of stuff that you do that you maybe don't think about as teaching, but is definitely teaching. For instance, as you're handing out pages for students to complete, you're constantly giving directions and reminding students of information that they've learned prior that they will apply to that worksheet or that group work or whatever's happening in your class. When you teach online, you need to prepare in advance for all of that content. You need to make sure that you can troubleshoot, you can remind students of what they've done prior to connect them with the current, and that you're always reminding them of how what you're doing now connects forward into either the rest of the class, a class they will take in the future, or just the life that they have in the future prepared for themselves. Couple of things to think about in your online teaching. Number one, lectures simply don't work. They don't really work very well face-to-face either, but they do not work whatsoever in the online space. Students simply zone out. Young students have a capacity to listen for about 3 minutes. Graduate students have a capacity, you guys are doing a little better, maybe 15 minutes, but in general, we recommend 5 minutes for your videos. You definitely want to introduce your content yourself. I find that students really like that. Students of all ages appreciate when the faculty member tells them what they'll be doing and how that connects. But also, don't rely so heavily on your own work to fulfill the needs of your course. If you're used to giving a 30-minute, 60-minute lecture to introduce content and get through everything, go out and find that content somewhere else. It's probably better done in a 5 to 7 minute video little chunk. The chunk's nice because the student can go back and re-listen very easily to the information they don't quite remember, but it's also better because somebody's just got better skills and more time than you have to create all those great videos and all those great resources. So really look at other options for how you can give students what they need. The second thing to think about online learning is that projects are king. If you like to give right and wrong question and answers for tests, I'm asking you to think differently about how you assess your students. Even if you are teaching in a fact-based course, the whole goal is not to have students, when they leave you, to know facts. The goal is for them to be able to use those facts in some sort of way. So projects are great for online because A, they ask students to use information rather than just know information, and B, students are less likely to just kind of ghost you when they're doing projects. They are much more involved. It's a lot more autonomy supportive to offer projects. Does that mean you can't do fact-based tests, multiple choice, true, false, all that good stuff? Well, first of all, as an assessment person, I have to warn you, true, false are terrible. Try not to use those. Multiple choice, however, yeah, sure. Use that as your formative assessment to make sure that students are prepared and ready to successfully complete your project base. Now, project-based can be difficult in subjects, but it's possible in all subjects. I've seen math instructors do really great kind of projects or short answer, case-based studies. All of those are possible, and they're much, much better online. This week, you're going to be outlining your courses. Outlining is a really good tool, especially if you move from semester to semester with different LMS, if your course is or your school is not locked down on what they're offering. Other things to think about with outlining is it just really helps you as you start to chunk to figure out, oh, this chunk doesn't really belong here, it belongs somewhere else. It's a lot easier to move it when it's in an outline and then just copy paste it somewhere else, as opposed to having to go back into a course and fix it. I've worked in lots of LMSs, and moving stuff around is problematic in every single one. Let me know if you have any questions this week. I cannot wait to see what you turn in.